Mostly I'm known for doing 808 State. That's kind of like the most sort of, successful, inverted commas, thing that I've done. But also throughout the period of doing 808 State, we've been doing many musical projects in Manchester. Because there's such a lot of great musicians here, and it's a good spirit of sort of getting together and trying things out in Manchester. So we've never really stopped sort of experimenting with sort of one-off bands, and to a certain extent this was brought about by a sort of keyboard collecting obsession that I had on eBay, where I was like buying old 60s organs I have a particular passion for, So once I'd amassed quite a few sort of cheesy 60s organs, we thought we'd better do a project with it. And I got together with Mandy Wigby, and we always talked about doing a sort of horror music project, which is something that we listen to a lot and we're quite into, and swapping albums and things on the horror genre. So we thought we'd sort of do a project sort of roughly in that area. But as it's turned out, it's taken on a life of its own and turned out to be quite sort of disco. So it's a sort of disco prog horror concept band. Everyone lives within about a mile of each other, so it was just my son's piano teacher is one and her friend and one of Mandy Wigby's friends, and I really wanted to play drums. I've only taken up drums in the past year. I've been playing for about a year and a half, so I really wanted to be in a band playing drums, and this was quite a easy way of being a drummer in a band if I formed the band around me playing the drums. Well, it's strange. At school I always wanted to play music. I always wanted to sort of play the cello and the oboe and weird instruments. I really was gravitating towards instruments, but they never had enough at my school. So it's almost like a reaction against not being allowed to play when I was younger, that when I got into music when I was about 14, 15, that I started collecting lots of instruments and trying to play lots of instruments. I'm a multi-instrumentalist, but I'm not trained in anything, and I wouldn't stand up particularly as being a great instrumentalist in any one field, but I do approach music as sound, and I'll have a go at anything instrument-wise. So when I first started in a band, I played electric violin and I played percussion. I tried a lot of things, and we had some sort of prog bands in the 70s that that was what all our kids, us kids, were listening to back in the 70s, and so we just got together and learnt funny time signatures, and it was a good grounding for later on when we were trying sort of more wide ideas with techno. Music's important for lots of reasons, but mostly it's to do with sort of just getting out of the everyday. It's one of the few transcendent experiences everybody can have, either through listening and certainly through playing. It's a place of living in the moment. It's about sort of just living that moment and not worrying about the future or thinking about the past. It's now music. It's got this sort of zone that you can just lose yourself in and just sort of be in a different headspace. It's that important.